I'm so excited. It's Miss Sebastian here, and we're going to be making some self-portraits. Woohoo! I'm so excited. So, we have some objectives for our lesson today. Objective number 1, distinguish the difference between a self-portrait and a portrait. Number 2, know the 3 head positions of typical portraits. Number 3, apply proportion to create a self-portrait. And number 4, create at least 5 positive affirmations for yourself. And if you don't know what an affirmation is, no worries, you're going to find out about it. So why are we doing this? Well, people often use self-portraits as a tool to understand themselves better during a specific time in their life. And what a more special time in your life could there be than your time here at Highland of our Intermediate School? Number 2, we want you to feel confident in what you have learned this year when you take your FSA test. We want you to refer back to these self-portraits and remember that you are incredible. You can do it. You are amazing. We really want you to visualize yourself being successful. All right, so portraits and self-portraits. A portrait is an artwork that someone makes of someone else. If you remember back with me, we looked at several presidential portraits, and for Barack Obama's presidential portrait, an artist painted him. So this would be a portrait. A self-portrait is an artwork that someone makes of themselves. So it is the artist. We, in 5th grade, looked at artwork from Vincent van Gogh this year, and he was the artist of lots of swirly, twirly colors, and he did amazing self-portraits. This happens to be one of them. 4th grade, we talked about the beautiful paintings and artworks of birds that John James Audubon did, and this was his self-portrait. And 3rd grade, I know that we haven't talked about Albert Dürer, but he is going to be our next featured artist, and this is a painting he made of himself. And then at the beginning of the year, we also talked a little bit about self-portraits, and you made a stick figure self-portrait of you, and we hung them up in the hallways. So there are 3 typical poses for portraits now. So the first one is called a front-facing one. The second one is called the 3/4 view. Can you discuss with the person sitting next to you why you think it's called a 3/4 view for about 30 seconds? All right, everyone, look back at the screen. Hopefully, you will have figured out that you only see 3/4 of her face. We don't see her other ear. We don't see all of this eye. We don't see all the cheek. We see part of the cheek. But we do see this whole eye, this whole nose, this whole mouth, and of course, this ear over here. This view here is called the profile view. And with the profile view, oops, see, there's the front. There's the 3/4, and with the profile view here, hopefully turn to your neighbors one more time and discuss with them what might be another great name for this other than profile based on measurement. So if this was the 3/4, this was the front, that was kind of like the whole view. What could this one be? Well, this one would probably also be called a half view, wouldn't it? Because we only see half of her face and ear there. Absolutely. So profile, 3/4, and front facing. All right. So now we are going to talk a little bit about proportion. Because when you're drawing yourself today, we really need to think about proportion and how things line up through measurement. So with the front view, we can have symmetry here with a line of symmetry that makes one side divide it from the other side, so they'll have the same things on each side. And science has shown that the more symmetrical your face is, the more people find you beautiful, for example. All right, so the first thing I want you to notice here too is that the eyes are actually located about halfway down your head, so about midway point. And the reason why is because you've got a huge brain. You are super intelligent and smart, and some of you have bangs and hair that comes down. So we'll need to make sure we leave that room for those things also. And we'll talk more about this as well. All right, so positive affirmations. These are going to be things that you say about yourself that are going to be uplifting for you. They usually start with the word I. I am wonderful. I know my math facts. I know my fractions. I know what water density means. I am amazing. So to get started, I want you to say this affirmation with me if you don't mind. So when I point to the line, if you'll say it out loud with me. So here's the first line. I am so smart. Let me show you with my art. Okay, so we're going to get started now. And so hopefully if you don't have this piece of paper in front of you, your teacher will pause the video and be able to get one to everyone because we want to make sure that everybody has one to use. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our paper so it is the portrait format on the computer or vertical format. It should be very tall and slender. We are not turning it so it is short and wide. So we want to make sure we are doing it this way, please. Thank you. Your paper may fall off the edge of your desk in front of you, and that's okay, because mine certainly does down here, if you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. So here is our first step. I'm going to have my head be in the top half of the picture. Don't make it all the way up to the edge, top edge. We want it to go down a little bit, just in the top half area. And I'm going to just gently lay my hand down, maybe have a little bit of space in between the fingers, but don't spread them out super wide. And I'm going to be using a marker today because I want to make sure you can see my lines, but you're going to be using pencils. So if you make a mistake, no worries, you can go back and change it. If I go ahead in the video, don't worry, you can always go back and work on it once the video's over, or maybe your teacher will replay these steps here on how to do your face. Okay, so I'm going to start off with kind of an egg shape. It's kind of like an oval, and I'm going to make it come down. It could be a little wider at the top, and maybe a little more narrow at the bottom. And then our next step is doing our neck. So go ahead and right now touch the area where your jaw kind of meets your neck. You can almost find your earlobes right there too. And you can see that your neck just is like an extension of your head. So once you're done drawing this face out, we're ready to do our neck. So I am going to go ahead and right in here, I'm going to do here would be my jaw. I'm going to bring out my neck area. So it's kind of like two gentle C's, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put shoulders on these. I know it's a little weird making floating head pictures, so I'm going to slide my paper up so that you can see this. So all I'm going to do here is just bring out my shoulders. Supposedly, you could fit one head on each shoulder according to proportion rules. But it's okay if yours doesn't. Okay, while you finish that up, I'm going to give you some eye facts. So, the eye is the second most powerful organ in your body after your brain. It actually uses about 65% of your brain power. They process 36,000 bits of information an hour. Amazing. They do not grow after you were born. They blink about 10,000 times a day. And your cornea is the only tissue in your body that does not require blood. And that is the clear protective coating over the lens, iris, and pupil inside your eye. And then if you'll remember back with me, we talked about some proportion facts, and we really need to make those eyes near the middle. So about halfway down, you're going to be putting your eyes in there. I like to put a couple of fingers in the middle, And that way that kind of lets me know where maybe the little tiny pink part in the middle of your eye where your tear duct is. And then I'm going to draw, I like to draw footballs. So if you're a boy, you're in business today. You're going to be doing some footballs, easy peasy. But if you're not into footballs and you want to do your eyes kind of anime style, absolutely you could do that. For sure. Some kids like to make their eyes even look a little elfin. If you want to do that for this portrait, you go right ahead. No problem. And then inside of the eye, I like to do 2 C's. And that's because when you're looking at people's eyes normally, you don't see all of the iris showing. Only if you're Shaggy from Scooby-Doo might you see the whole whites of your eyes going around after you see the haunted swamp monster that is scaring everyone in your team. So don't do that, but make instead a little bit larger. Now, if you're doing eyes that are the anime style, you might want to do them like that, and then your other one might be over here too, and you would be like that maybe. And you can add a few extra lines in yours, maybe add some highlights in the pupil, and you can add some little extra lines. Those sorts of things would be fine if you wanted to do that. No problem. And we're going to add a pupil right in the middle. So we're going to just do that pupil right in there like so. That is the window into your eye. It allows light to come in. And actually, if you ever need medicine administered inside of your eye, they'll actually put a needle right through that pupil and get that medicine in there to help save your eyesight, 100%. Some of you may want to put eyelids. That is fine. Some of you may want to put eyelashes. Absolutely you can. I know boys don't like to do eyelashes. It's funny though because they seem to have the longest eyelashes, just saying. But you can do your eyelashes however you want. If you just want to put them on the side, or maybe you want to do just a darker line up here, that is fine. Any way you want to do those is a-okay. And then for the eyebrows, I find that those are the most important feature on someone's face. I find that that seems to be the most distinctive shape on your face. It looks, if you can get your eyebrows right, that'll do more to look like you than probably anything else I'm going to show you today. And the purpose of the eyebrow is to keep sweat out of your eyes. So you want to make sure it goes across your entire width of your eye, and it channels it away and makes it so that it doesn't burn your eyes. I know sometimes it seems like they're not doing their job, but they really do try to kind of catch that sweat and bring it off to the side there when possible. Okay,